Hey, 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 here's your blind buddy coming at you again, y'all. I'm telling you. Uh, there's times where I get where this right here is a joyous thing for me, man. Like I said, I'm still human like everybody else, and there's times where we all have our spouse. But these times where you realize that, you know, hey man, I enjoy being able to just talk. Like I said, I can't see nothing, man, and I'm just able to sit here and talk and do it. I think I've always liked to do it. I just, if sometimes I feel like I'm just sitting around listening to myself talk, my partner knows what I'm saying. I like to hear myself talk again. That was the reason for it, because I like to hear what come out of me, Cause I know it ain't me, I've been given a voice, man, I didn't really know I had, so I'm just excited about what come out. My partner was like, man, sometimes I wish you had a volume on it where I can cut it down.
I wasn't expecting you to say that.
It's just, you never know what'll come out of me. I'm always, my mama never tell you, I've always been a child. I say whatever. If it's in there, hey, you don't want it to be said, you better put it up. Cause if it goes easy, it'll come out the mouth. I'm going to tell you.
I know that's the truth.
Like I said, and the spirit comes, as can use me, cause I'm nosy like that. I'm like, Father, what else you got? Cause I want to hear it, If the spirit open up, if the Father opened up the windows of heaven and pour down a blessing that I can't receive, I was like, hey, you give me some hinges to put back in. I'll see if I can open it up wider, and I'll try to drill them out a little further in there. Cause what I be receiving, man, I'm telling you, it's real. I trust where it's coming from. So I trust it with everything I got. So if it tell me to go jump off a mountain, which I know it ain't gonna do, so but I believe enough in it that I would. But I'm gonna tell you this, it comes to me and tells me things about, the difference between the just and the unjust. And it breaks it down in a manner to where I could receive it, and I know if I could receive it, somebody else could possibly receive it as well. You know what I mean? So with that being said, the difference between the just and the unjust, that's why Jesus reigns on the just and the unjust. The word tells us that God lets the wheat and the tare grow together, and he'll do the separation. The wheat and the tare, the just and the unjust, and these things, people, say, well, you can't take these things out of context. Just is just. You spell it Just, it's just, and God explains it to me. So, are you gonna be just what I need? Are you gonna be just what I need to keep the course? Or are you gonna just continue to be a problem? Because the unjust are the ones that continue to be a problem, because they are always unadjusted. You know what I mean? Because when you continue to be unadjusted, then you just continue to be a problem. You understand what I'm saying? How can perfection continue to be perfection with something that stays unadjusted? You need to be able to stay adjusted. You need to be able to stay adjusted and keep the course that perfection can continue on forever. Because long as you got something, anybody can attest to this. If you got something that don't work right, and it's always it's unadjusted, it's always need adjusting, it's always tearing up. You got a belt on your car that won't stay adjusted. Anything that won't stay adjusted will just come apart and tear up the whole system. You know what I'm saying? And we have to be able to stay well adjusted, well oiled, and maintained to be just what God needs. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to be just what God needs, then you're just going to continue to be a problem. You know, and the problems will be just done away with, justly done away with. Because the justice of God always prevails. Because it's just us when it comes to God. It's just us. You understand what I'm saying? Am I making sense?
Yeah.
I hope I make enough sense to the just as well as the unadjusted. That this makes perfect sense. That we need to come into an adjustment process because we have become so unadjusted that the system is making, it's starting to smoke. The conveyor belt done got stuck somewhere. It's smoking, it's fixing to catch a fire.
Right.
You know, and nobody wants to claim any wrongdoing. Ain't no mechanics on site, nobody can fix it. You know, you better make sure that when the inspection come through, you wasn't one of the unadjusted parts. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just better hope that your equipment was well adjusted. And I ain't talking about your physical appearance. Better hope and when you attach your soul to the Holy Spirit, you better hope everything is adjusted. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cause if you ain't adjusted right, you ain't gonna be able to catch the ride. You know, that's about as simple as I can get on that. Stay adjusted. Here we are.